everybody, I'm Nick, and welcome back to another extra episode of Final Fantasy VII. Today's target is Ruby Weapon, and as you noticed, I have two characters dead. Well, if you've probably noticed, in other Ruby Weapon fights, we're going into this fight with two characters dead on purpose, and this clip is the Knights of the Round clip I usually do. Although I actually did get a failed take on this one because I didn't know how long Dazers last. And just gonna let you know they don't last very long. Anyway, the reason that you go into this fight with two characters dead is because if you don't, Ruby Weapon just doesn't take damage. You actually have to go into this fight with only one character left. And if you don't set it up yourself, Ruby can use Whirl Sand, and let's just say that's no good, because it just ejects a character from the battle. So Ruby Weapon becomes vulnerable the instant it pulls these tentacles out. Now I'm gonna bring this up now, because I feel like someone's going to bring it up when they see the second clip I show of Ruby Weapon. The tentacles don't actually perform any actions. It's Ruby Weapon that's doing them, so using Dazers on them is completely pointless. So what you're mainly here to do is throw Dazers at Ruby Weapon and then cast Knights of the Round, because after every single use of Knights of the Round, if Ruby isn't stopped, it will counterattack with Ultima in between your castings of Knights of the Round, and my party can take at least one or two of those before dying. But I definitely can't take three in a row, and that's what happened with the fail take I did. I didn't realize how long the Dazers last, and then I had already put my mime commands in, and I just got Ultima to death. And so what I end up doing here is I wait a moment for Ruby to not be stopped anymore from the Dazers, and then reapply them. If you don't have Master Summon materia like I do here, you'll need at least a level 4 Knights of the Round materia to do this. But if you're like me and leveled to 99 with double and triple equipment, then I have a mastered copy of it, so you will probably be fine. Yeah, definitely go and get Knights of the Round before you do any sort of level grinding in this game. I'll just say that much right away. So I end up doing Cloud's miming because I still have the time for it. It doesn't get out of stop until after the last set of Knights of the Round happens. At least I believe so. It's been a little bit since I recorded this, like about a day or so. Shouldn't have waited, but, well, I'm lazy. And I don't think I'm gonna stop here. Now, the other kinds of the main attacks Ruby can do is that, well, if it doesn't have its tentacles out, it can do Comet 2. But it also has Ruby Ray, which just does a good several thousand damage. Ruby Flame, which is a fire attack. That's why I showed off everyone equipped with flame armlets to absorb it. Also, all of these different attacks Ruby can do, like Ruby Ray can confuse you. The tentacle attacks can also inflict other statuses. That's why everyone has ribbons. You really want to do that. And normally you can get 2 ribbons through the main game. To get more of them, you need to morph Master Tonberries. So you want to grab at least one of those while you're in the Northern Crater. Which is, get your Conformer and get ready. So I believe it, yeah, literally right at that point, Ruby had finished its stop, so we just set up one last round of Ultimate End, and it's good. Now, Ruby actually has less HP than Emerald Weapon. Emerald Weapon has like 1 million. Ruby Weapon only has like 800k. So you don't have to do as many castings of Knights of the Round to actually finish it off. Also, if you do not go this Knights of the Round method, Ruby Weapon actually has insane defenses, which you're really gonna see in this next clip I do, because holy shit. Holy shit, you will see the numbers I do. I think I finish it off after, not this mime. Oh no, this is just the second casting, but I mime it at least one more time. Yeah, commands are really helpful, and I'm really glad I got some more copies of W item. You're really gonna see that in the next clip. I keep saying that. I should probably stop saying that. But you get the point. You really want to come into this fight with Dazers because Ruby is vulnerable to stop, and that can give you precious time. And all of these clips are being sped up this time to, I don't want to feel like I take forever, because I do that enough with the normal Let's Play videos with post-commentary stuff. I at least want to have some brevity over it, like some actual control over it. So these, Knights of the Round summons are double speed, and the next clip you're gonna see is 1.5 speed. Otherwise, this video would have been like bordering on an hour, and I would have run out of things to say really quick. Anywho, here's the Ruby kill. This is the first kill I ever got on Ruby, by the way. Anywho, here's the amount of experience and AP you get out of it. I just had that for boosting my MP, and the Desert Rose, this is where you get it. Now, what do you get for the Desert Rose? Once again, you gotta take it back to the trader who's over here. Now, because I already have this gold chocobo, the reward for this is effectively pointless. But if you do this the other way I do it, then you would never have needed a gold chocobo. So, the reward is a gold chocobo. So who'da thunk it? You have to make sure you go over and talk to the chocobo in order to actually claim it. You also have to have enough room in your stalls, which I happen to have one slot left. And so I end up deciding to give the name of this chocobo Boko 2 because screw it. I did not want to come up with an original name at this point. I just wanted to get this done and over with. But yeah, if you do this the second way I show off, which I really do not recommend you do, find some other method to kill Ruby. Yeah, this second clip is gonna be fun. At least I thought it was super intense. So, how about that second clip, eh? There we go. Now, do you remember how I took out Emerald Weapon the second time? So, by the way, none of the equipment has actually changed, but I'm going the double cut method again because I'm stupid. And remember when I said Ruby Weapon has insanely high defenses? The reason I show off the hero drinks here for a very important reason. Because without those, I'd only be doing like 3-digit damage per hit. Yeah, that's how high its defenses are. And you can use up to 5 hero drinks on a character to max out their stats. So I end up spending these first few turns. Well, first off, I revive everybody. Specifically using life 2, because that way I don't have to bother with healing everybody right after I pick them up with Phoenix Downs. And then the next main thing I'm sure to do, which I did also in the last video, is, or not in the last video, the last clip, is setting up haste with Big Guard. The barrier helps too. And yes, I do end up wasting my time with these Dazers, but I didn't really know until partway through the fight. And you'll be seeing these Ruby Flames, like, doing nothing. And one thing I always do is I use a Dazers, then I use another item, usually a Mega Elixir. But I start using the Mega Elixirs when I really need to, or after I have finished setting up the hero drinks. And as you can see, that's the Dazers not lasting long at all. And yes, I already said this, that I'm wasting time with the Dazers. Even to the point where I start giving myself some more Dazers. Now it's particularly important I set up the hero drinks on Cloud and Sid, because they have the 4 times cut. So Yuffie's mostly pulling support if we can. Yeah, I don't know why they use the same animation for hero drink and Big Guard, but I don't know. What can I say? I'm just some guy playing Final Fantasy VII and other shit. The only reason I'd actually be concerned about the MP draining tentacle is for Sid, because I said this before in the Emerald Weapon video, his Venus Gospel's damage is based on his percentage of MP he's got, like Cloud's Ultima weapon. But yeah, as you saw with the damage on the meteor rains, we're not doing a whole ton here. So this is what I'm living with for this stupid challenge. I'm imposing this on myself. I wanted to do a way that was my own way without Knights of the Round. And I'm ultimately happy with how this turned out. Also, I like that Cloud is just going all over the place when he's slashing at Ruby Weapon, just because this thing is massive. Also, I should look at one of these fights with, like, one of the mods that, like, have higher quality models or whatever. Like, I've seen mods like that. And Yuffie can still do some decent damage with the Conformer, so it's just like, why not? And you're not really fearing an Ultima counterattack when you're just using physical attacks. So for the most part, it's just like, I am spamming Dazers, and then when I use a Dazer on Ruby, I just use Mega Elixir as the second item, just to heal all the way back up as a safety. Now, something that will happen in the fight, eventually, is that it can use Whirl Sand to eliminate a character, but that won't be for a while. Yeah, this fight is long doing it the way I did, and I am glad I chose to speed it up. Although I get to show off this limit, which I've never actually used before. I also get to use Yuffie's All Creation, too. Which I know likely isn't the best one to use, but I don't really care. I still won the fight, which to me is what matters most. Another thing that Ruby can do is it can just straight up use Ultima, not as a counterattack. It can also use Shadow Flare, which I ended up getting that on my other enemy skill materias, so that's fun. Shadow Flare won't kill me. It does a crap ton of damage, though. And the tentacles are percentage-based damage, just like Emerald Weapon's Emerald Beam. So you don't necessarily have to fear getting killed by them, unless you're at like 1 HP, then you die. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I have to say other than I've been wasting my Dazers. If you see me chopping him up. Things do get a bit intense though as the fight goes on, especially once he starts whirl sanding characters away. Oh boy! Although I think he starts using whirl sand after a specific amount of his hit points have been drained. At least when I was reading how its actions work. Not actions. I'm missing the words again. How is what he's programmed to do? You know, you get an idea what I'm talking about here. And the reason why I tend to use a Mega Elixir usually after I throw a Dazers is because I have no idea what he's going to use. Even if it's a Ruby Flame, I end up using it because I want to keep my characters topped off at all times. And so if he's using like a Ruby Ray, Ultima, Shadow Flare, or the tentacles have hit me, yeah, I really don't want to be dealing with that stuff. Is no bueno. Also, I can say I can appreciate every single critical hit my characters do, because that's a lot of damage. Anyway, here's the first of the Ultimas, and I can show off that, yeah, we survived those big time. And now I can actually show off all creation. This is like the only level 4 limit I've put on someone. So yeah, that ultimately does around a similar amount to her physical attack. So it's just like, I could have used the previous limit that hits continuously, but oh well. Them's do be the breaks. And while I'm ultimately not too scared of like Ruby Ray and stuff, it's just when things start piling up, if you throw out multiple Ultimas and I did not heal, I do not want to repeat that. Because this takes a long time. A real long time. And this is actually my first take of doing this. And actually, at some point during the recording, my son ended up coming into the room and sitting on my lap. This was actually towards the end of the fight. Not something that's actually important, but just something cute that happened. Because I was recording this without using my voice. That's the entire point of post-commentary. Not co-commentary, but that's actually coming back pretty soon. Sorry, just the way I'm looking at this is I have a timeline. I'm watching the video myself. And oh boy, I have about another 8 minutes to go. Oh shit. I'm trying to remember at the point where I actually realized, oh hey, these Dazers are doing jack shit to the tentacles. Oops. And yeah, that is a pretty timely Mega Elixir, if I do say so myself. Because otherwise, Sid would not have been able to do full damage with his Venus Gospel. And at the time of this, I haven't recorded level 99 Sephiroth yet. I'm kind of doing these bits and chunks at a time. I really shouldn't be doing that, but oh well. Oh well, I guess I just don't want to get too lost in my footage or something. That, and sometimes it can just be a bit difficult to get time to do stuff. But yeah, I guess I could say with the amount of damage numbers you're seeing, I definitely survive at least 2 Ultimas if I have barriers up, which I don't feel like it's worth wasting the time to renew them. But I know I can survive at least 1, because I'm just like, hey, let's just max our values out, because why the fuck not? But yeah, learning Shadow Flare is pretty good. I will also, as an aside for when I actually get around to doing level 99 Sephiroth, I will not be using Knights of the Round. Although I do wonder how many cuts he can survive. Or other kinds of spam. I think I'm gonna figure out something non-Knight of the Round to figure that one out. Of course, I'm also gonna do my best to just absolutely trash Genova Absolute in Safer Sephiroth. Because I will likely be pairing Master Magic with the Quadra Magic materia, just so I can spam 8 Ultimas in a single cast, or a single turn. That seems fun, right? That reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy VI and just spamming Ultima. Man, now that I think about it, Ultima's so much weaker in this game compared to Final Fantasy VI. Like it maybe does around... Oh, here's the first World Sand. And thankfully it takes Yuffie. Thankfully it only takes Yuffie. Ooh boy. I'm just kind of remembering that when it came to the second World Sand, oh, I kind of started tensing up. Anywho, as I was saying, Ultima and Final Fantasy VI. Oh, it's definitely something I'm going to show off, but Ultima spam is fun. Because with the kind of builds I use, I usually end up getting capped damage real quick on that spell. And because the spell quick exists, and then W magic is essentially an item in that game, or an accessory. Yeah. However, in Final Fantasy VI, there's an accessory you can get that reduces all your MP costs to 1, so you can spam at essentially no cost. And you bet your ass I'm doing that at least once. However, doing so is super dangerous, at least in the original, because there's no free version of that accessory. If you're playing the Game Boy Advance version, you can actually find a copy of this accessory in the extra dungeon that they put in that game. Which, actually, I'm at a bit of a loss at which version I want to do, because the Game Boy Advance version is the one I completed, but I love the soundtrack of the original, and the frame rate, too. The frame rate of the GBA version can be a little bit off. I think I'm ultimately going to be sticking with the Super Nintendo version, because if any re-releases will be likely based on that one. Especially if Square decides to be super generous and lets Nintendo put it on the Super Nintendo application for the Switch. You know, let us play it for essentially free. Because that'd be really, really cool, like what Capcom did with the 2 Super Nintendo Breath of Flyers. Anywho, I'll have more to talk about Final Fantasy VI when it actually becomes time to let's play that one, but I just wanted to get my little Ultima spam thing out of the way. But yeah, I'm cloning more Dazers just because, like, I'm using them up way too much pointlessly. Oh, here's the second World Sand. And this one takes Sid away. This is where things for me started to get a little butt clenchy because my damage output is not the greatest. I will say that much when it's just one character remaining. I think it's this point where I start realizing I should only use Dazers on Ruby. Like, goddamn. Also, those misses. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. This is the point where I thought I was going to fail for sure. But hot damn! Look at how much HP I have left. Jesus Christ. That was a save. That's when I started tensing up. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. At this point, it's like, there's no way I can lose this fight now. No way. Let's just... I even decided to give myself a barrier to survive more attacks from Ruby. That is the point where, like, okay, I'm getting desperate now. Like, with the barrier, I take barely over 1,000 damage from this thing. Like, another method of fighting this thing is just soloing it with one character. But I decided, no, I'm fighting it my way, and I am just doing it. So it's just, use Dazers, use Mega Elixir, go for an attack, repeat, try not to die. And this, I was ecstatic when this happened. Like, my adrenaline was going, holy shit. Oh, this was good. I even just trot around a bunch in the freaking Chocobo. Jesus Christ. Anywho, I think in the next video, yeah, oh well. We're gonna take on Sephiroth in the final extra episode. See you guys next time!